Hey there, my name is Paul, and this is Out of Neutral, a weekly tune-up where we look to the Bible to get in gear and follow Jesus into the life he came to make possible. Today I want to talk about what happens when the church shows up in the neighborhood. It's become more and more difficult to have conversations about faith in our culture today. There's a greater sensitivity to religious talk and the fear of proselytizing. The result is that we often don't talk with each other about some of the deepest questions of life. While personal relationships are still the main context where we still need to engage in these conversations, our life groups also need to connect with the world around us as the body of Christ. There's still too many people outside of our circle of relationships who have never heard the good news about Jesus. Reaching out as a group enables the church to be present in places with people we'd never otherwise touch. Our life group recently participated in a local art festival, and it was a learning opportunity on many fronts. The first lesson for me was that if you're struggling for an idea, borrow one. One of the questions that I'm regularly asking myself as I hear reports from church planters and growing churches is, how are they connecting with their community? In settings where there's great need, there are often cries for help and open doors for the church to act. Where there's more affluence, connecting can be much more difficult. I've enjoyed learning from the various ways that Liberty Grace Church has sought to build relationships in their neighborhood. We joined them a few years back to help them with the art crawl in Liberty Village. The basic idea was create an interactive art installation that the whole community could contribute to. As people stopped by to paint a line or a squiggle, I was amazed by how many conversations opened up about church or faith. Importantly, the church had shown up where the neighborhood was gathering. When I saw a similar promotion for an event in Richmond Hill, we discussed getting involved as a life group, and we're glad that we did. The second lesson, if they don't come, go. So often we think of church outreach as planning an event for people to attend. Making use of your facility makes sense, and you have the freedom to do what you want. But the church building can be a safety blanket for Christians. It's our home turf, but it can be an obstacle to many. And taking part in a community event helped us to get to know organizers and others who care about our city. It was a way that we were able to express our solidarity with our neighbors and also with other Christians. One of the organizers was a Christian, and one of the soloists at the open mic sang gospel songs and testified in between them to her faith in Jesus. The final lesson of the day for me was, if you pray and show up, God will open doors. As people came to our booth, it was interesting to see how God steered the conversations. Whereas most of the art vendors were operated by solitary individuals, there were always at least 4 or 5 people serving at our booth. And so people were curious to find out who we were and why we were doing what we were doing. I would introduce our church and explain that community mattered to us. And so we wanted to do a painting with our community to represent our community. Many people talked about their experience with the church. One person had even attended the former Weldrick Road Baptist Church. One of our young adults, Christian, had a conversation with a man who referred to himself as Doubting Thomas. He said that he loves Jesus' teaching and respects the church, but can't stand Christianity. Christian asked what he loved about Jesus' teaching, and for the next 45 minutes, Thomas and Christian talked about life, loss, and faith. We were handing out bottles of water and freezies for the children when I approached a man who was sitting off to one side. When I offered him a water, he thanked me and asked what it said on our t-shirts. We were wearing t-shirts that said, "Living the Unstuck Life, Believe, Connect, Share." He asked what the Unstuck Life was all about. I explained that I was a pastor and met many people who found themselves stuck in life and had written the Unstuck Life to show how Jesus sets us free. Later, he called me back and wanted to know more about the Believe, Connect, Share. What's that part all about? I was encouraged at how God steered the conversations. We didn't change the world with our little art booth, but we showed up and we were able to bless our city and be blessed by the people we met and the discussions God opened up. Imagine the influence we might have as a church if each of our life groups was involved in little neighborhood outreach projects multiple times per year. May God lead us outward to care about the city and the people God has placed around us. That's all for this time. Today's video has helped you get out of neutral. Leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to join us on the journey.